What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Double A here, back here with another video. Helping Rishi out with the purple Luffy guide since I recently got a decent placing with it, so I felt like it was a good opportunity to talk about it, especially with it being a good meta call in the current format of OPO 8.5. So let's get on with the video. How do you skip? There you go. Alright, so the leader ability slash engine of the deck is essentially you're taking a live and ramping an active, so you're just able to like be more efficient with your Don and have more Don to work with than most decks. Which that's purple's like game plan. Every purple deck is like Don manipulation, so this one just happens to give it to you active with a condition that can be met pretty like consistently compared to other decks. So like you just do your leader effect once per turn. So it's a consistent way of ramping. But let's see. And then the strength of the deck would be that you can get to 10 down faster than most decks can, and like consistently being able to do it as well with the leader ability and other purple generic cards. Like I guess an example would be like Bon Clay and like Miss All Sunday if you choose to play it. Like all these other purple ramp cards. And then the ability of it also being an aggro deck and board flood deck now with the Luffy Taro that's on screen, and cards like Sangoro that helped a lot with the problems of the deck, which I'll get into the next point with, and they're just like being super hitting hard like so fast is just a lot for most decks. And the weakness of the deck, well, itself is an aggro deck. It also struggles against aggro decks. Also struggles with control slash removal decks, but that's like the not impossible matchups are just hard, for the deck. But you can still win them. Like Purple Luffy has that's a good card pool now at least. And then I mean we don't have a Gecko Moria, but that no deck beats Gecko. So besides Nami, and the main weakness of the deck would probably be like the lack of draw engine. Like we don't really have a draw engine besides the Nami that we just got, which is a reverse queen where you trash first then draw two, and then we also have queen, which is a really good, probably one of the best purple cards out there. And then we also got the Sangoro, the one attacking one if you have 8 or more die draw card, but the condition has to be met and it has to stick for it to get the draw off, which in most matchups it will stick, but in some matchups it just probably won't. Like, Ice Age is a card, so. And then the bad matchups, like Zoro, Dofi, and Bonnie, are all just like bad matchups that you'll probably see in this format as well. Especially the Dofi, you definitely see. Bonnie, you might not run into as many, I think, but at least that locally, probably not. But like if you go to regionals, you probably will at least play one or two. It's just such a good deck, and like some people like that play it know the matchups, so like they'll get around winning. And let's see, we'll go individually. I'll explain why each deck's a bad matchup. Now, why Zoro's a bad deck? Well, Zoro also has a board flood engine with the chopper, and then a lot of their cards just say rush, so they get to hit you. They get immediate value, and then also cards like Kid Killer, which you as Purple Luffy are taking your own life, so you're just enabling that one attacking to get an extra 2k for free, like faster. They're just able to like chip you down, get your hand size down, and then just swing big numbers with cards like that later. And then also the top end, like Dragon, which just has rush and gives 2 Rusted Dawn. So like ideally the leader, and then now everything gets plus 1k, like all the characters at least. And they just hit you a lot and really fast as well. And let's see what else. Dofi matchup. Now, why Dofi's a bad matchup? The deck is also an aggro deck, and it also has just insane removal and good characters that bounce now. Now that people are running the Jozu and the Doflamingo, because Clyde won the Treasure Cup with it, and it's just a good card. Shout out to him for finding out that that's a good card. And I guess they also have cards like Perona, Duffy Blocker, and Boa, which just stack the deck for them, and they're able to cheat out what they choose within those five. Which most of the time, like the deck, just everything does a lot. Like we will draws. If Jinbei's in there, you can play something off. Like, and then the bounce law. Like it just depends on what's going on, what's in that five. The Duffy player just gets to choose what they want, and Gravity Blade is probably the most annoying part of the deck. It just like gets rid of the Sangoro and the I guess like a blocker or a 5 cost. Uh, and that's the efficient way to remove it because if Sangoro just sits there, they're typically not gonna attack it, and we just get to draw and just like grind them out. If like we manage to see like a few Luffy Taros and the matchup's not too bad. Um, let's see why Bonnie's a bad matchup. The main reason is the deck like just plays a million blockers. They also have the 8 cost kid, which we don't really have a way to remove other than swinging into it. And the leader ability just denies the swing. So if you have 2 big bodies out there, like kid, like either a blocker will take the first hit or the counter out, and then the leader ability just denies the other swing entirely. And they also have like cards like Rosinante, so even if you were to take in the Ragnarok event to KO the kid, they'll just protect it with the Rosie, so you just wasted your whole turn. And next turn they'll probably just either play something else like more blockers probably, and just grind you out with that 8k base. And the leader can just easily guard that since that deck just preserves a lot of counters since they're just denying swings throughout the game. So this match is arguably the worst matchup for Purple Luffy in my opinion. Let's see. Now the ideal first curve, you typically mulligan for like the Zoro Searcher or like Bon Clay. It just depends. Some kind of 4-drop that you can play because you're gonna go 1/3 leader ability 4. If you have a hand with both of these guys in it, you just don't do too much. Just keep the hand. The hand's probably really good because you have the Zoro to play on 4. Search out something that Luffy can play. Ideally, Sangoro or another Zoro are the 2 most ideal ones, but you can also play like search itself. Sorry, and the Nami, I guess, but it probably wouldn't be the best play to do. But if that's the only play, then that's the only play. Next turn, after the 4, you go to 6, leader ability 7. Swing out with whatever you have. Either if Zoro's stuck, which most of the time it will, but if not, you just go leader, swing with leader as well. Luffy Taro into something, ideally Sangoro, but you can play any of the ones that you want, realistically speaking. And then just set up next turn. They swing at you, you guard out. Next turn, you're going to 9 because leader effect takes you to 9. Sorry, but you raw go 8 if you don minus with the Luffy Taro. If you didn't don minus with Luffy Taro because you just didn't have nothing to play, then you do go to 9. So you don't have to leader ability. You can just keep that life as a shield for like another big swing later, and play like Big Mom Mercado just depending on what's going on and what matchup, whatever's best in your opinion as the player or as the pilot to do. It's completely up to you, but this is just the ideal going first hand. And we'll go on to the next one. Now the ideal going second hand just depends on the build that you're running. You typically just if I look for a 5 and a Luffy Taro ideally in your hand. You can if you do run Magellan, it'll probably be the best bet to like throw your opponent off their curve and just tempo, because that card they won't swing into it, it'll stick, so you'll be able to like swing out with it each turn. And if you really want to, like if you do run Kid, you just be Don efficient and he's a blocker, so in the 5/6 that line's pretty good, so you just preserve cards since the deck lacks draw power. So you would just go 2, 4, leader ability. Swing, play out the 5 costs, either Kid, Magellan, Queen, or Sangoro. You can also get the swing off with Sangoro on the next turn and draw because you go to 7. And then leader ability takes you to 8, so you get to swing with the Sangoro and see if it changes anything. Cause what you draw, like say you draw the Luffy, now you have something, and you have something to play off the Luffy. You just go, Luffy, Don minus, play out something, do the effect if it's the searcher, get the Don back with Kid, so now you can swing 7 with leader. And next turn you don't even have to do leader ability. You'll just be at 10 because of the Kid giving you back the Don. And then from there you either play the Big Mom or you play another Luffy Taro. Ideally Luffy Taro, just because that card's very good. Probably the best card in the deck now. And get that board going, just swinging out each turn, like getting cards out of their hand. You get a lot of cards out of their hand this way with all these swings. And then once they're down low with hand size and their life's low, just set up the Kaido and go for game. Now I'll talk about the newest support of the deck from the starter deck. That Luffy Taro's in the middle of the screen because he's the most important piece of everything. The Zoro, searches out the deck to help you consistently see your other pieces for later throughout the game. The Sangoro is just the draw power of the deck. As long as he sticks, which, like I said, in most matchups he will. It's pretty hard to remove, like early doors, unless like you're playing against Lucci they just high roll, or like yellow just triggers. But that's part of their deck, so that's their engine. Luffy Taro playing all of these guys if you really want, but ideally not the Usahachi. You just kind of save that to go for game because it taps a 5-cost blocker ideally. And that's pretty good. And Nami, just a reverse queen. And it's a blocker as well, so you trash one then draw 2 as long as you have 8 or more Dawn, which that condition is pretty easy to meet as long as you're not just like Dawn minusing like crazy with like Kaido or something when you don't need to, and just kind of just play the game, grind it out, and just swing out until you beat your opponent. And then that's all. I'm sure. What else did the deck get besides these? I think these are all the newest ones, if I'm not mistaken, but they're all really good cards and really good support for this deck, so that's what makes it a viable deck now. Tech choices for the meta. 7-cost Kid is really good into Blue Dofi because you become a 6K leader, so all those 5K bodies that they play, they have to put Dawn under it to be able to swing into you, meaning that they typically won't have more Dawn to play more things and just spam the board until your hand gets really low. So they have to like either choose to leave everything standing and then just keep playing things standing, and that enables you to just keep cards in hand for later and then play out more bodies to contest whenever they do go sideways. And if you play multiple kids, then you become a 7K, and that's even harder to hit for them. So that's a good call for that matchup, in my opinion. But Kid's not really that good in any other matchup besides Dofi. So if you just feel like you'll play Dofis and all day, every day, then yeah, you can put that card in. It'll put in work for you for sure. And then Magellan just shines against black decks. And the main reason is you throw them off the Magellan, or throw them off the Gecko Moria, and they can't really play it on curve. They have to wait another turn, which is good because then, so you essentially just tempo them out for them not to be able to play that. And most of the time they won't remove it because it has a KO effect. If it were to be KO'd on your opponent's turn, they have to lose 2 more Dawn, which just like completely throws their game plan off. And this card just is the answer to black matchups. And I like this card a lot, in my opinion. I got the alts. The alt looks sick. It's one of my favorite alts. And then another tech choice is Eustace Captain Kid, the blocker. Just a 5/6 blocker with counter. Just makes you a 6K leader for one of your opponent's swings because you just block counter. Or if they only have one swing of 5K, just block and preserve cards in your hand. And it's also the other effect where if you return a Dawn, you can add one back to your Dawn from your Dawn deck, so your field is active. So you're really efficient with Dawn, meaning that if you were to Dawn minus the following turn, because of and you did your leader effect, you basically did your leader effect for free. So next turn you don't have to. Right? So you're just Dawn efficient, and just a good card in my opinion. Like this card is just, man, I'm surprised a lot of people don't run it, but I do, in my opinion. I'm gonna get my deck list on screen for you guys, and then if you guys want to try it out, you'll see this card gets a lot of value. The other tech choices are, let's see, the Charlotte Linlin. This card's really good into the Black Yellow Luffy matchup. You just put something in live because you're ramping, obviously, so you get this out pretty quick, and then put it on top of their life, in my opinion, and just swing out and make sure it goes to the bottom, or you get cards out of their hand, and you develop a 9K. And then the only way for them to reach this is with Ice Age or Kuzan Swing Finger Pistol. But like I said, if they have Kuzan out there, you just move it. Now they have to have Ice Age, and then they have to be at 2 life for them to rock a Luffy, which they probably won't be as long as you play the matchup right. And then Kaido, I've seen some people not play it. They choose to like play, I think, the 7-cost King, which might be good. You never know. Like, I haven't tested it, but I'm gonna test it because I saw it. It just doesn't make you lose a whole bunch of Dawn, and it makes you be Dawn efficient. Because you can just chain the Kings also. You typically can't chain Kaidos. It's just too expensive. But the Kings is 7-8 also with Rush. Where you just don't KO something, which might be a good choice. I'm definitely going to try it out, and I'll let you guys know whenever we do the updated Purple Luffy later down the line, because there's always room to learn. This is just like what's going on, in my opinion, in the current meta. And also this Luffy card, there's like specific builds for it to work in Purple Luffy. This card's mainly played in Red Purple Luffy, but there are builds that make it work in Purple Luffy. So, and it's a 10-12, and it's searchable with the Zoro. So it's a searchable boss monster. The only thing is that you do have to Dawn minus on play. So you can't just like play it as a vanilla, not do the effect. So that's like the only bad part. Otherwise, people might play it because it's searchable boss monster, and a deck that just ramps really hard. And the 10-12 stat line can swing over Kid. And the Kid can't swing into this. So you're able to just like kind of grind out Kid and get the blockers and get rid of the board. But yeah, I think that brings me to the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. Like, I'll try my best to get to them. And I'm sure Rishi will too. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.